Radiant team ban.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Battle of Central Europe Season 3, where this is going to be the second and final game in this best of 2 and of the day between Moscow 5 and Drak, I think. I don't know. Anyway, here on HeflaTV Hitbox 1, we're going to be bringing you this last game. I'm Mike Loris. I got Grandis here as well, and man, last game was a lot more explosive than I really would have thought.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Both teams, I don't know, for quite a long time in the game were fairly close, and in the end it's Drak to take the win. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's much more to say. As far as this game, we're going to also see the Necrophos banned out. This is looking very similar, although this time Brutemaster and Razor are not going to be available for Moscow 5.
Right, so they will have to pick their selection a little bit closer. It is going to be a Vengeful Spirit, even over like the likes of Death Prophet, Tidehunter, Drak. They just really want to have a play stun. Maybe gonna combo that up with a Puck second pick. We didn't see, I don't think, any really cute coil swap combos. I mean, there was no Aghanim Scepter on the Puck last game, which was unfortunate. And the game just didn't last long enough for that, but it's a possibility. Vengeful Spirit is one of the most solid supports you could find. She just is a support with a stun, and of course the swap is also great for bailing people out as well.
Yeah, and then that extra damage that she can offer with the aura as well as with the Wave of Terror is really useful and makes heroes like Phantom Assassin or Medusa that much scarier. As for Moscow 5, they will have a lot of top tier heroes available to, I don't know, get their pick out. Death Prophet hasn't been banned out, which is fairly odd for this tournament and might be seeing some play here. But for now, it's going to be a Skywrath Mage Tidehunter, which also has its merit. It's a really solid opener from them.
I'm pretty sure we've seen Moscow 5 open up with this hero, hero combo quite a few times, and it has been working out decently well for them. It was in the game where I think they had just all the teamfight ultimates against Virtus Pro. They kind of fell short in that game, but hopefully that's not going to be an issue for this one. Right off the bat, Drak have a good answer to the Skywrath Mage Ultimate Vengeful Spirit swap. 9 times out of 10 is going to keep that target safe. However, with a Ravage on top of that Mystic Flare, it is very hard to keep anyone safe. It's a ton of damage, and it's very easy to land as well for Moscow 5. So they have themselves a very solid combination, and well, Drak, they already have the Vengeful Spirit. They can go pretty much for anything they could possibly want. If they want to go for a Centaur, that's a pretty standard opening as well. Get the dual stuns, get a lot of damage. But I think just the power of Death Prophet is just too vast.
Yeah, it's very tempting to snag up, even if you can find more synergy with the Vengeful Spirit elsewhere. Yeah, Death Prophet just seems to be so attractive. That extra damage inside the team fights, and then the ability to push into towers afterwards is just so strong. But instead, they go for the Elder Titan. It combos well with the Vengeful Spirit, and he is kind of the hot pick right now. Elder Titan, after seeing months and months of very few times being played, this game he's going to show his face yet again. I expect Death Prophet to be taken out of the pool, especially would have been very nice for Drak, even though it's a nice hero in most situations. With the Vengeful Spirit minus armor as well as with the Natural Order aura, those ghosts would have done just a ridiculous amount of damage, especially to the likes of Skywrath Mage.
Okay, it's not too late. We might be seeing that down the line if Moscow 5 don't ban it or pick it up for themselves. Drak, they literally just finished a game where their Elder Titan was played as a solo offlane hero, and though it did get killed off a couple of times, didn't have the best of times, it got the levels up and it ultimately worked out pretty well for them. It is possible that we see that replicated once again, but even if it's not going to be a core Titan, just having Venge and Titan as your support duo is still pretty dangerous. Like Venge said, amplifies damage. Elder Titan does the exact same thing. They will be able to dish out quite a lot of punishment if they are the support duo. Although, I mean, they just completed a core Elder Titan. Maybe they want to switch it up. Maybe they want to keep things the same. Either way, it's a lot of plus damage, and maybe they're going to be building into a minus armor strategy, although that is a little bit ambitious. I would love to see a Slardar, though. That would be cool.
Yeah, it would. It would synergize decently well with their, minus armor sub-theme. And Death Prophet is going to be the choice for Moscow 5. Since it wasn't banned out, I don't blame them at all. I think that Death Prophet's quite a bit scarier than a Spectre or a Slark, and probably should have been in that place. But Drak may be hoping that Moscow 5 were just avoiding that hero for some reason, but it is going to give them a really solid team fight combination.
And now maybe Moscow 5 are the ones to turn up the heat. Like last game, off of Drake's lineup, you wouldn't expect them to be to end the game in 30 minutes. Like that was just kind of surprising to me, but Moscow 5 certainly were a little bit more surprised as well. They were the ones to lose it. Death Prophet is capable of ending those games. It's not going to be as surprising for sure. You know what's coming for you, but we have a Visage, and well, we already have the extra damage from Vengeful, a little bit of amplified damage from the Elder Titan. I think we all know what's going to come next, and Moscow 5, well, up against a Drow Ranger, they have a couple of decent tools, but no great way of getting right into her face. It's outside of a Yule Scepter Death Prophet.
Yeah, Blink Ravage is also decent, but generally you don't want to be committing that spell directly onto the Drow Ranger, and I think this game is going to be a pretty good use of Drow Ranger's damage, and with already the Vengeful Spirit and Elder Titan boosting up Drow's damage, it's already going to be absurd, and then you have Visage on top of it to benefit even more. With those Visage Familiars, those birds will probably be able to pretty much kill anybody on the map, especially if Aghanim Scepter comes out and Drow Ranger has enough agility items to back that up, but it's going to be a ridiculous amount of damage for Drake, and even though it might not be extremely attractive, I think they need to prioritize some more control, as they're not lacking the damage department at all.
That's for sure. I mean, the Visage does confirm that Elton is going to be played as a core hero, so maybe he's going to get enough levels to get additional points in Stomp. And as far as tools for keeping your Drow Ranger safe, Stomp is actually very effective. Like, it has quite a large AoE just in itself, but then you get double AoE with your Spirit, which is pretty sweet. So they will have to get that down the line. In Moscow 5, what they want right now is to get heroes that can get close and close distances. I think they're also considering a Drow Ranger for themselves just to deny it, but they're instead going to go for a Void, one of, if not the best heroes at taking down Drow Ranger. I would have said that Phantom Assassin would also be a viable pick. Put Vigos on that hero and they would have been very happy, but Void Chronosphere is a good answer to everything and anything.
Yeah, especially when combined with the Skywrath Mage Mystic Flare, being able to drop the Drow Ranger is going to be incredibly easy, even if she has BKB or any amount of items to stop that damage from coming through. It's just going to be very difficult for Drow Ranger to keep herself safe if that Chronosphere actually lands. I think more important is going to be like the defensive swap to keep Drow Ranger out to safety, or just really good positioning coming up from whoever is playing on that Drow.
Yeah, so it looks like a pretty good Drow lineup for Drake. They can't get their hands on Viper or Razor, who are normally some of the best partners to go with that Drow Ranger, but honestly they don't even have to take another ranged hero. They have so much extra damage coming out from so many additional sources that if they did want to back off and go for a Slardar, unlikely, I know, but if it could work out well for them just because they just need another core hero that is more on the tanky side. Of course, they could go for a full glass cannon if they want to go for like a sniper or whatever. Go wild, Drake. Go ahead. But they are looking for potentially a mid lane hero right now. And though range in mid lane is always certainly very nice, so obviously TA being banned out, going for a little bit of bulk is also not going to be too terrible either. At least someone to distract the attention away from Moscow 5, away from the Drow Ranger, and towards whatever else hero they're going to pick.
Yeah, I think although it's not very bulky, a puck still wouldn't be bad here for Drake. Just offering that much more teamfight control and distraction for the enemy team, even though it's not the most reliable. If they do want to go for another range hero, I think that one's at the top of my list.
Maybe Queen of Pain, Invoker, maybe not as much Invoker. But Queen of Pain seems pretty solid here. They know that it's a safe assumption that Death Prophet is going to be going towards that mid lane, Moscow 5. Final support hero is going to be that Ancient Apparition. No huge value out of that freeze effect just yet, as Drake don't really have any straight up healing, so it's always going to be pretty useful for sure. Getting that Ice Blast Shatter effect is going to be great, and additional damage on a Faceless Void Skywrath Mage early on can crush through anyone's health pool, and hey, look at that, you're a Psychic. It is going to be a puck pickup for Drake as they get a little bit more control, something you said before.
Yeah, and I like Drake's lineup, although it is always scary to see Drow Ranger. It's a fairly risky pick. Moscow 5, I think what they're bringing to the table is just a lot easier to pull off. But if the positioning is from Drake, positioning is there from Drake, that could completely change any analysis inside the draft. But I think my bet would be on Moscow 5.
Yeah, it does seem like Drake they have to execute correctly, and we saw them execute very well in the last game, but just like things so many things can go wrong. Like, Drak Ranger can die very, very easily. Elder Titan can get stomped in lane versus a Tidehunter. It is possible that that is going to happen. And a Puck you could probably depend on to do a little bit of work, but up against a Death Prophet that's being handled by a player like of Vigos's caliber, it's going to just be a hard matchup in and of itself. So I would say that Moscow 5 definitely have a safer, more secure, probably like statistically they would probably win more with this draft than Drake, but it is possible that Drake can get away with it. I mean, the damage that you get from Drak Ranger Aura and Elder Titan is absolutely freaking insane.
Definitely. For now, we're going to start things off with a pause. On the Radiant side is going to be Moscow 5 on that side of the map with Tron. Playing on the Faceless Void, our support's Unstable on the Ancient Apparition, as well as King R on the Scarith Mage. Blow Your Brain going to be playing in the offlane, Tidehunter leaving last but not least. Vigos playing on the Death Prophet. Chat was getting in the way there for a second, but either way, that is going to be our Radiant team.
And on the Dire, Drake is going to be Ace on the Puck for now. Werne is going to be playing the Elder Titan one more time. Should be a core role Elder Titan there. 8 Mother is going to be playing the Drow Ranger with Seal Kid supporting as the Venge, and Hanskin also supporting as the Visage. So lots of damage coming out from Drake's side, and Moscow 5 overall I would say with stronger lanes, but lots of things can go wrong in the lanes. Even though you may have a quote-unquote better lane, who knows what's going to happen, as they could very easily, Drake, fill up the Soul Assumption bar and drop some serious nuking power on Moscow 5. And M5, it looks like they're going to be laning just defensive lanes, so Tidehunter is going to be kind of thrown to the wolves up towards top. He's not going to get anything, but at the same time, Werne is not going to get much either.
Yep. For now, in our mid lane matchup, it is probably going to be Puck versus Death Prophet, which for the most part is fairly uninteresting. In these supports, although there is some rotation potential coming out from the Venge as well as the Visage, I don't expect them to really leave this Drak Ranger alone, as that's where things can get pretty hairy, and at least one of them is going to be sticking with her for the majority of the time. And I think also both of these teams are going to be pretty happy with just starting out passively until level 6s come out on Moscow 5 side, or until Drake find an opening or get that blink dagger on the Puck, whichever comes first.
So I really like the move that Elder Titan just did. He placed the ward down. Obviously that's in itself pretty standard, but he used that information that he got to determine his item build following. He loaded out with just one observer ward, and now he saw that there is going to be a lot of harassment in this lane. He's going to pick up the Stout Shield, he's going to pick up a crap ton of regeneration, and he is pretty much perfectly prepared for this. There was a distinct possibility that Moscow 5 were going to run this as an aggressive tri-lane, put Tidehunter down here, and just be happy with that matchup, in which case you would have seen a much different build from the Elder Titan, but he played it very smart, and he's going to get rewarded, but still he's not going to have the best of times, but he is as well suited as he could possibly be given the laning circumstances. We do see Seal Kid with an Invis rune, and I'm pretty sure we saw this last game, and this is very dangerous. And Vigos, he is pretty survivable with a lot of stats, but I don't know, dangerous situations when whenever you have an Invis rune from the get-go.
Yeah, and this time Vigos, it looks like he's going to be defensively enough positioned to where he shouldn't fall. If he crosses like this line, he'll be in a whole heap of trouble. And he's flirting with it. Vengeful Spirit's going to drop the magic missile. There's the Illusory Orb, John to it from the Puck. It's just going to take a couple of tower shots, but the right-click damage as well as the Grave Shield should be plenty to secure this first blood. Ace drops pretty low, but tower aggro toggled the way of Handskin is going to mean that everybody's fine. They'll even drop a salve the way of their Puck. Again, first blood set up by an Invis rune on Vengeful Spirit. Second burst, same as the first.
Yeah, except this time it's on the other team. Werne on bottom lane is going to take quite a beating from that Chilling Touch. He is going to make it out, albeit barely. Salving up already. He's not looking too good down bottom lane, but he's level 2. Yeah, Drake definitely getting some karmic justice after getting their Razor ganked in the same exact fashion in the last game. But yeah, it is going to be a kill going the way of the the Drake side. It is going to be the Visage to take that one home. And already the additional damage from 8 Mother. +5, +6. It's not really that much, but when you think about it, that's like about as much damage as you get from a or from a Wraith Band. A little bit less, but it's a lot of effectiveness very early on, especially when you're relying on the right clicks for the most part to do most of the damage. Now Blow Your Brain on the top lane is working blind, does have boots, is getting a little bit of experience, but the constant harassment from Drak Ranger is so annoying, and it will never stop, like ever.
Yeah, if anything, it's just going to get worse once more levels and items come out for 8 Mother. Tidehunter is not going to have a very happy time in this lane, and Now that the supports are there, he also kind of needs to fear for his life. The 2-minute rune is going to be secured by the Vengeful Spirit, going to bump into Blow Your Brain, Magic Missile him as well to secure this potentially for the Puck. And Puck is going to be able to get that bottle refill guaranteed, although he doesn't have the bottle running just yet. The Death Prophet jumped on in mid. Vegas, one more auto attack. It's going to secure his death, even though he tries healing up.
Get up if you can.
Difference between a Puck with and without Precision Aura, perhaps? I don't know. You should not really be getting kills on this Death Prophet solo. Like, that just shouldn't be happening. Meantime, bottom lane, this should be happening. Werne is going to get chased down by a Bolt, and he is going to be brought down. Tron dropping pretty low. Unstable dropping pretty low. One too many tower shots, but everyone will survive off of this bottom lane, albeit barely. The Puck, in a little bit of trouble, will jaunt out from underneath that Crypt Swarm, and well, Vegas trying to make a retaliation kill happen, but Puck, remaining elusive as always, is going to get his bottle, and he's looking pretty good over in this middle lane, killing Vegas off twice now, or, you know, being a part of killing off Vegas twice now, and Puck is going to get quite a bit of farm off of that, and really, there's not much rotation just yet for Moscow 5. On paper, they can, but it will be very difficult to lock down a Puck with only 1 point in Ancient Seal.
Yeah, and they really need both of the silences available, and Death Prophet just doesn't have that point or levels in order to really afford to get that point up, and Ace should be pretty comfortable in this lane and continue just farming away. Has the boots now on top of his bottle, and from here on out I expect him to just save up for the Blink Dagger, but even if he deviates away for treads or some sorts of boot upgrade, he still should be completely fine. It won't impact his effectiveness in this game very much at all. Drow Ranger's getting really good farm up top, and that's probably going to stay the course as well. Drow Ranger's going to, at the looks of it, back up for power treads before going for any sort of next item. 8 Mother not going to be going into a Midas, presumably this game. And as for the Faceless Void, it looks like that's about the same story. Both of these carries are getting pretty similar amounts of farm.
Drow Ranger just with one Wraith Band right now, might be going for an Aquila down the line, although it is most likely, as you said, just going to be power treads, and then Drow Ranger going to be happy with that. We do sometimes see Drow Rangers loading up on Wraith Bands and getting power treads. I don't know if this is going to be one of those games. They will get a lot of benefit off of the aura, but I don't really know if they want to be playing that aggressively. It's probably going to be something like a Yasha down the line after finishing up these treads, and that's a pretty decent build as well. Blow Your Brain still messing with Handskin in that jungle area, but we do see rotation from Seal Kid. Wants to go to the mid lane. Ace is very close to a coil, and Vegas is very weak, and that's a great combination for Drake if they can make it all line up properly. Puck just needs a little bit more experience. Now he's level 6, and Vegas is going to get the hell out seeing that fact.
In the meantime, up top, Blow Your Brain, one more auto attack from the Visage isn't going to kill him off, surviving with 7. And nothing's going to happen in mid. It's in fact the Faceless Void to get the kill on the Elder Titan, looking at the wrong lanes. But yeah, both of the offlaners taking quite a bit of damage. The difference is that Kraken Shell is guaranteed to proc, whereas Stout Shield does have those mischances.
Well, mid lane, they do drop that coil in the end. Vegas is also going to snap it. Orb is going to connect. Seal Kid needs a magic missile. One more hit. 3 HP. The Death Prophet survives. Oh, man. Ace getting a little bit unlucky with that high-low roll of his damage, and he's not going to get that kill. But Werne, he wants revenge after his death. He's going to punch down Unstable twice. That's going to be 1 kill. Now going to go for King R. King R, no, don't run that way. Tron is actually going to come in with a lucky bash, save the Skywrath for a little bit longer. Spirit's going to get Werne a double. Now with the additional movement speed, I don't think Tron has enough to keep up with this Titan. And Titan, I mean, dropping 2 deaths is kind of to be expected lane, but getting 2 kills, that's kind of surprising. Now has Seal Kid rotating in as well, but the Titan really showing how much damage he could put out. You do not want to get close to this Elder Titan after he has any sort of Astral Spirit boosting.
Yeah. Ace did use a TP scroll down in bottom that ends up being cancelled. The Elder Titan didn't really need that support, but now with the Vengeful Spirit, even the Faceless Void needs to be pretty careful. Tidehunter consecutively being zoned out of this lane. Now has some support from the Skywrath Mage, but with no Ravage, I don't expect any kill potential on this Drow Ranger. Although, with 8 Mother being this low, maybe they can pull it off.
Unstable, trying to secure the rune for his allies, going to get very quickly brought down. Ace doing so much right-click damage with the help of 8 Mother. However, 8 Mother in quite a bit of trouble herself. Drow Ranger is going to fall. Magic Missile onto King R. Seal Kid not doing too much. Only level 3. Vengeful Spirit is going to walk right into a Tidehunter. Probably not where you want to be as any hero. But they do have the rotation in from the Visage. Seal Kid just trying to bait Blow Your Brain into sticking in this area. At the same time, it's going to be Ace coming around from the side. Both the Tidehunter, well, Tidehunter's going to get the kill on the Vengeful Spirit, and now going to try to move up to the north, where he's going to most likely die. King R is going to be brought down by Ace in the meantime. Blow Your Brain's dueling Handskin, but now with 8 Mother here, they're going to give this kill to the Drow. There it is. And that's going to be a trade that benefits Drake for now, as Vigos also showing his face right now, taking quite a bit of damage from 8 Mother. Marksmanship is available for this Drow Ranger, so now everyone from Drake doing even more damage. Plus 27, 7 minutes into the game is absolutely insane, and they're making it work so very well for them. And even Werne, like the person who doesn't get that extra damage, is doing just fine in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and he has the Astral Spirit to give him that extra damage. He's going to get Chronosphere. There isn't an ultimate from King R. Warden's going to drop fairly low. They do silence him up. He can't do anything else but try to run. He won't be able to make it out. His Faceless Void bashes him down once more after a short time walk.
Again, these kills are kind of to be expected. Your Elder Titan is capable of getting kills if he's on the aggressive, but on the defensive, he's fairly vulnerable, especially when you're dealing with this much damage. Ace is going to throw an orb towards Tron. No coil available, though. If the orb hit, it would have been a kill, but that was not to be the case. Vigos going to look to dive 8 Mother up towards top. They're going to pop the Exorcism 8 Mother straight into the trees. This is not really going to help her that much versus these spirits, and she doesn't have any tangos to dig her way through. She's going to buy up a couple of items, but 8 Mother is, for the most part, just completely screwed. The Vengeful Spirit's in the area, but can't really do anything either. It's a very nice dive from Moscow 5, and Exorcism for a kill is probably as good as it's going to get with only a level 7 Death Prophet.
And they put a little bit of chip damage on this tower as well. There was a catapult during that dive that Drow Ranger wasn't able to deal with, and the tower's dropped to at least a third and won't be deniable, so yeah, I think that's worthy. Over on the other side of the map, there's going to be Dreamcool onto Unstable, silenced up in mid, but Ace is taking one too many tower shots, and with Chilling Touch, they need one more attack, 2 more if he's bottling up. Now Ace making a turn, does have enough mana for one more loose orb, will be able to land it squarely into the Ancient Apparition and disjoint a tower attack, but it's not even going towards him. The Puck going to be able to find himself a killing spree. It's 0 and 2. Puck not very close to his Blink Dagger, but it's going to come out a decent time either way.
And the difference between like Puck getting kills on the Ancient Apparition with the Drow Ranger dead and the Drow Ranger alive is huge. The additional damage that the Drow gives is huge, and well, Puck is going to very quickly make short work out of anyone he finds, really, as long as he catches them with a coil. And if it's a soft hero like Ancient Apparition, well, that's just better for the Puck. It is going to Mask of Madness, though, for the Faceless Void, and he's kind of just been farming in the background. He's actually on top of the last hit chart, actually on top of the net worth chart as well. The couple of kills on the Elder Titan here and there have been helping him out by quite a large margin, and with maxed out Bash, he can now get solo kills on the Elder Titan, and that's pretty scary to think about. Drake needs to rotate 2 heroes at the very least in order to deal with the Faceless Void, and even then it's not guaranteed to the Time Walk Chronosphere to get him out.
Yeah, Elder Titan currently sitting behind mid. Ace is dropping low, but still Death Prophet needs to be careful. Ace does have a regeneration rune in the bottle, so that actually doesn't mean anything. He'll potentially throw out an Elusive Orb before he gets that full mana, but it doesn't even matter. Creep Wave was nowhere close, so it wouldn't have accomplished anything either way. Up top, we do have the Tidehunter diving the tower, but he's alone. He does have a Ravage, but can't do anything with it. The Ancient Apparition is close, but also is too far away. He is going to gush up the Vengeful Spirit, jaunt down to the south. It is going to be a jump onto the Ancient Apparition as well as the Scarth. There is a coil now onto Unstable. They should be able to cancel his TP with nothing else but his death. They had too much damage there with the Drow Aura being popped previously. They didn't even need it.
Plus 31 on 2 familiars seems pretty good to me, and those are also very fresh familiars. This is just hitting the level 6 and summoning those up, so definitely Moscow 5 didn't consider that into their calculations when they were going for that type of an aggressive play. They also kind of assumed that the Tidehunter would get his Ravage up, Ravage out, which is usually a pretty safe assumption, but that's not to be the case either. 8 Mother with 0 points in Gust, still just kiting the Tidehunter, and the burst damage the Drow is able to put into the entire team is huge. So yeah, the Tidehunter, even though he could have used Ravage, was not given a proper opportunity to do so. In the meantime, though, Tron and Vigos down on bottom lane will take the first tower of the game. So even though 4 kills behind Moscow 5, still with the farm on Vigos and Tron are going to translate that into a tower, plus a little bit of extra damage onto the tier 2. So, you know, even though top lane not going smoothest, still on bottom lane it's going very well, as it has been for the entire game.
Yeah. Faceless Void has yet to really put that to great use, but now with the Chronosphere as well as the Time Walk maxed out, available, going to jump into Ace, drops Chronosphere solo onto the Puck, and with the Mystic Flare it's going to be too much damage. Even if Puck is generally fairly elusive, you can't do anything when time stops around you.
And, well, that's just going to buy more time and more space for Drake to make a straight beeline towards the Roshan pit with the additional damage they have, plus the minus armor from both Medallion and Wave of Terror. 8 Mother and company are going to shred that Roshan. Did not stand a chance. Now double life, plus a hell of a lot more experience and gold going the way of Drake. now up to plus 34 damage with this Drow Ranger. She is going to go for what looks like a little bit of lifesteal, so keep herself sustained, and it is going to help her farm quite a bit. She's going to take no damage in the jungle if that is where she is going to farm. I think I would rather like to see a Yasha build or a Blink Dagger for her, but hey, this is just a nice item to have in general, I suppose. And she's really not going to need that much gold, as everyone else on the team is going to get so much as well. So it's going pretty well for Drake, all things considered. They have to think about how they're going to start taking down some structures. They've chipped a couple down pretty low, but that doesn't actually mean anything.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Right now, we still have yet to see Ravage be used by the Tidehunter, and they have potentially an opening to take a team fight, but it's just so scary right now for them. Puck is also sans Blink Dagger, but that's going to be remedied very shortly. Just a creep wave or two, a kill, anything. This tier 1 tower falling in mid will secure it for Ace, or if not secure it, very close to secure it for him. The glyph is going to be spent in mid, but this tower is going to fall sooner rather than later. Loser Orb to clean up the creep wave, as well as a couple of auto attacks is all they'll need, and we might be well on our way towards a 5-on-5 engagement. Visage coming in from the south, as well as his familiars.
Alright, so Familiar is going to be on zoning duty for now. Maybe baiting Tron into a dangerous situation. They're going to dump a lot of damage into the Void. Double Stomps are going to miss, and Handskin is going to be unable to solo kill the Void. Not really a huge deal there, as the rest of the team still positioning themselves for an aggressive mid push. King are on the front lines, going to start things off with the silence onto the Puck. And Moscow 5, they are defending with a Ravage, so this is a very dangerous push for Drake to work with, and they also have to face up against the Chronosphere. Now that they have a Blink Dagger on the Puck, or a Blink Dagger coming in to the Puck, they might be able to take this, but it just seems way too dangerous for them. There's no point in going for that when you could go for a bottom lane. That's not being defended at all.
Yeah. Tier 1 tower down in bottom, probably going to be taken just by Visage and his familiars. They have a Drow Aura to pop if they need it, and that would probably be enough to take it. However, in mid, they will have to deal with this Moscow 5 kind of push, but just a couple of loser orbs, and an Astral Spirit will be able to mop up those creeps. Faceless Void is still sitting in mid. If there is an opening, they will be able to make a very effective jump onto Drak, but right now it's just not there. It's just the Elder Titan in the Puck, and they're on the other side of the map. Faceless Void digging his way through a couple of trees, really wants to secure this push in mid, and they should be able to do so. Tier 1 tower down in bottom is going to fall to Visage and his familiars, and Tier 1 tower in top is going to be pressured a little bit by 8 Mother. For now, it's just a 1-for-1 tower trade, or will be a 1-for-1 tower trade. The Tier 1 tower in mid, although there's a glyph, probably not going to survive. There's Chronosphere just onto Warren, but he is going to be dropped by Mystic Flare, as well as by the Void beating onto a Dreamcoil on the sidelines. Ravage, however, going to be used by the Tidehunter, and everybody inside the Dreamcoil is going to survive, except for Boar Death's Prophet, who gets snagged by his Soul Assumption, slowing down Tron. They're trying to catch him up with the silence as well. They'll be able to bring him down. The Drow Ranger damage is just too significant for them to survive through, and it's a 2-for-2 trade, and tower actually survives.
Wow, I did not realize the tower was going to live through that. It seemed like for sure it was going to go down, but really it was the last dying will of the Puck, the coil onto 4, that one, or that salvaged that situation for Drake. I mean, otherwise it would have just been Moscow 5 taking a couple kills and then making a clean retreat. But instead, they're forced to stick around for just a little while too long, and Soul Assumption from the Visage, and then of course 8 Mother's damage, and now going into the Tier 2 tower. It's actually a pretty large swing in favor of Drake. They know that there's no Chronosphere, and they know that there is also no Ravage, and there should also be no Mystic Flare. So with the additional damage of the Familiars, they're going to lose their Aegis on the Drow Ranger, but that's fine because they're going to take a tower, swap back onto Vigos, will throw himself up into the air to keep himself safe for now, but Gust is soon to follow, or just right-click damage, that's good too. In the meantime, Steel Kid getting beaten down by Tron. It's going to be a Gust onto Boiler Brand. His Familiar is going to zone everyone else out. Tron wants back in onto this. He's going to try to go for Handskin, but he has a lot of backup, this Visage, and they're going to turn around and just wail into this Faceless Void. He's going to get silenced and very quickly brought down. Mystic Flare is going to, for the most part, miss on Ace, and he's also going to dodge, I think, the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast. 8 Mother going to get another kill for the team. Scarth Mage down, and now unstable. Tagged the Frost Arrows once, which of course means second and third is going to follow. Werner gets a double kill, and Drake take a 4-for-1 exchange. M5 definitely pushing a little bit too aggressively, but this is the damage that we see when you pick up a Drow Ranger and you have Vengeful Spirit and you have Elder Titan. There's just a disgusting amount of damage that all the mid towers are now dead, and I'm sure the top and bottom towers are pretty scared for themselves right now because it's going to be those towers next for Drake.
Yeah. Right now, Moscow 5 need to start considering purchasing up casual plate mails. They need a Basilius on their team, even though it's usually not the most of important items. That extra 2 armor could be huge. Right now, Vigos going to be gusted back by Ape Mother, kiting him decently, but it looks like he's still going to fall to the Ghost. Ape Mother can't survive here, trying to lifesteal as best he can. It's probably just going to end up dying. Ghost chasing him through the trees, and there he goes. But Puck now joining the fray. It's going to be Vigos to die to the Visage, killing him with those bird drops. Dream Coil onto 2, and now with the Coil Snap, it's not enough damage to kill off Ace immediately, but with one bash into silence, swap from Seal Kid, it might be enough to survive throughout all of this. He needs a little bit more bottle charges and will disjoin that Arcane Bolt. Now with the Soul Assumption, the Visage Familiar is doing a lot of damage to King Arm, but not enough to kill him off, and now with the Ravage onto 2, it is going to be enough to mop them up, but Elder Titan's coming through on the backlines is getting quite a decent chunk of damage, killing off the Skywrath Mage, and now going strong into the Tidehunter, hitting with plus 86, and now with the Puck also joining the fray, it is going to be the Illusory Orb to kill him off. 3 for 2, now faces Void, Juki inside the trees, the Familiars spot him out. Tron has another Time Walk, is going to spend it, gets back into the lane, however, there's an Elder Titan in this lane, that's not a safe place to be. With the waning Rift coming out from the Puck, it's going to be the end of Faceless Void's life.
That's another 4 kill streak for Drake right now. Losing the Drow Ranger first, probably the worst situation, as everyone else had to struggle a little bit more to get their kills, but they got their kills. Even with the Mystic Flare Chronosphere being thrown into that fray, Drake were able to slip away with that Puck, and wow, an 18-minute Aghanim Scepter for Handskin. That is one of the fastest Aghanim Scepters I've ever seen on Visage. It's only topped by, as far as Aghanim Scepter purchases, by the earlier Lina Aghanims that we saw. That was at like 17 minutes, so this is the day of fast Aghanims, and Visage with an Aghanims is already a huge pickup. When you add Drow Ranger Aura plus the Elder Titan Aura on top of that, it just gets disgusting. And well, the mid lane tower will finally drop from Vigos, but these Familiars, if they find one person alone, especially if it's a support, they're just dead and they can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Right now, Drake, they look to be in a really good position this game, and Ape Mother, as long as he's surviving, those team fights are going to be so easy for them to accomplish. It is going to be an S&Y build from Ape Mother, giving that extra movement speed. A little bit of tank also doesn't go amiss onto a Ranger. Maybe being able to survive a little bit longer to the combinations coming out from Moscow 5 and kiting just that bit more effectively, especially when you get those MAME hits off. Roshan, it's not going to be available for a decent amount, or at least 30 seconds, if it is the shortest possible respawn timer. I haven't been keeping track of exactly when it's going to respawn, but we'll see soon enough. And that might be the next major map objective that Drake are going to be looking for, is up in top. Chronosphere into Warren, he is going to be bashed down with the Mask of Madness onto Void. One more bash and one more auto attack will end Elder Titan's killing spree.
That's a little bit unfortunate for Drake, but honestly, they don't need the Elder Titan right now, as they're going to play it a little bit slower for the upcoming minutes. Roshan, it's actually going to be more on the longer end of the respawn timer, so if Drake are going to be waiting for that one, they're going to be sitting back for a very long time. It should be them looking for additional towers. They have been able to claim them pretty convincingly in the past, but it's going to be a defense for now that they have to deal with, as Vigos is going to deploy his spirits up towards top. Visage's Familiars are perfectly in position for this one. They will just start things off onto, well, messing up for now. Handskin is going to need those stomps right now. He's going to get brought down by the spirits of the Death Prophet. Now Seal Kid is here with the Magic Missile. Vigos is going to get the silence out a little bit too late, and it will be a 1-for-1 trade once again. In the meantime, bottom, Ape Mother just pushing that one by himself. He's going to meet himself up against the Faceless Void, and well, time walk forward. Ape Mother is going to be fine to survive this one, even turning things around. Ice Blast coming in. Not going to land. Ape Mother's going to straight TP. Bash. Yes, there's a Bash and a Ravage as well. And a Mystic Flare. Okay, well, Ape Mother didn't stand a chance there. I think he could have just ran and been fine, but it's ultimately going to be a 2-for-1 in favor of Moscow 5. Yes, they lose their Death Prophet, but they take a Drow Ranger out. That means that Drake, they can't really get anything. Oh, okay, never mind. They're going to get the Ancient Apparition. I guess someone that soft is always very vulnerable, and they will make it a 2-for-2 trade in the end, but getting anything else with the Drow Ranger dead is rather unlikely.
Yeah, Puck decides to start spending some of his 4,000 gold that he had pooled up, and he is going to purchase himself an Ultimate Orb, going towards a Scythe of Ice, presumably for him, a more standard Puck build than what we've been seeing as of late, going for Midas's Dual Scepter. This is pretty much no nonsense. They're going to get Dream Coil and mid on the Blow Your Brain. He is going to snap the coil, but it's not purged off. He's instantly going to purge off the Magic Missile, but still the damage is there as Venge gets it with a Howl.
And that's even without the Drow Ranger being alive, so none of these heroes are working with that plus damage. And Roshan is going to be up very shortly, with 30 seconds on the clock for Tidehunter and no Ravage for another 90. This is going to be a very easy Roshan. Handskin is going to run into King Arc. Chronosphere, Tron is going to throw it, but Mystic Flare is already used and missed. There's Earth Splitter, and Seal Kid's going to swap out Tron, making things inconvenient for him, and he's very quickly going to take a fall. King R going to try to kill off Hanskin, but he's not going to be able to do it. 28 HP. Ice Blast is flying through. It will not connect onto the Visage, but it will connect onto pretty much everyone else. They do see Roshan 8 Mother. He's just going to solo it because you do keep your marksmanship bonus, I believe, if you are firsting up against Roshan. So either way, it's going to be Drak Ranger. Now with the help of Visage Familiar is going to take that, and Moscow 5, they don't have anything in order to contest. In fact, it's going to be Vigos in a little bit of trouble. They need a coil, they need a swap, they need something else. And the movement speed on Death Prophet's going to keep her safe for now, but it's not even a high priority for them to get that kill. They were just buying space for 8 Mother.
Yeah, and the space is going to be there. That's your Aegis now on your Drak Ranger, and a tier 2 tower down in bottom that's probably going to fall, especially after Death Prophet dies again. Or dies in the end. I didn't actually see what happened there. It seems that Vigos ends up getting into the wrong spot. I'm not sure what he was doing there. There wasn't a swap spent by Seal Kid.
I guess he thought, here's what he thought. He's like, oh, there's no one. Oh, there were people here. There's no way that they're still here, right? There's no way, because they were just taking Roshan, so they would have backed up. No, they just took, that doesn't even, I don't even know. I mean, if they just took Roshan, that would mean that they're going down to the bottom lane, right? So there is no reasonable line where Vigos' actions are justified, at least not that were immediately apparent. I wasn't watching it either, but doesn't seem like a kill that really should have happened. Regardless, Drake, they now have a completed Sheepstick on Puck with the Blink Dagger 23 minutes into the game. This is, to go with the Visage's Aghanims, one of the fastest Sheepsticks I've ever seen on Puck. And, well, a Blink Sheep is pretty much the best way you could possibly initiate a fight in Dota, and getting it this early is huge. It's just going to buy more space and room for 8 Mother to shoot things.
Yeah, it is. And now Hanskin Smoked Up going to join the rest of his team. And the pressure's on Moscow 5 to contest a high ground push, or at least think about what they're going to do at this point in the game. Tidehunter Ravage, although usually it's a pretty guaranteed way to win team fights, as is a Chronosphere, it just doesn't seem that that's enough. Drak, even though they're generally fairly squishy heroes, just the amount of farm that they have over their counterparts on the side of Moscow 5 mean that they're really difficult to bring down, especially now with the pipe coming out from Elder Titan. And outside of the Death Prophet, a lot of the damage that they're focusing on is magical. Right clicks from Faceless Void are nice, but when you take away that magical bash damage, as well as the Maelstrom, it's a lot less scary.
And Drake, they've plowed down the entirety of the bottom lane. They're going to try to force Moscow 5 back. Ideally for them, Death Prophet pops Exorcism up on top lane. Although, well, she's going to straight TP back. Fortification going to be used immediately for Moscow 5. Their Tidehunter does have a Blink Dagger, and he is working on a Refresher, but that is a long ways away. If he goes down, he does not have a buyback, so his priority right now, land and ultimate. And Drak Ranger, now up into the air, is going to be taking quite a bit of damage, although we'll be fine for now. Jump in for the Faceless Void. Instantly hexed, however. Now Tron's going to go down without using anything. He buys back instantly, but just like that, Drake are fine to back off or continue engaging. It's going to be a re-engage onto the Vigos Death Prophet. There's the Ravage. Finally, it's going to connect onto pretty much everyone. Now the Chronosphere is going to land. Seal Kid down. 8 Mother still has the Aegis, however, and they're focusing down the Ancient Apparition. He's down for the count, and now Tron, he's trying to run away, but 8 Mother is back with the Frost Arrows. You cannot escape that. That's 3 down in favor of Moscow 5 with a buyback, and Tidehunter not looking too healthy either. Drake, they only lose the Venge, and they only lose the Aegis. The push is going to continue, and Moscow 5, I think they have to buy back on their Death Prophet, but even then, can it be enough to defend?
I don't think so. Not without Exorcism. This is at least melee barracks, and now they find some more. King R, way too close, is going to be bursted down by nothing else, the Soul Assumption, and now the Puck to jaunt as well as get a Waning Rift. Blow Your Brains zoned out inside his base. This is going to be a rotation mid, potentially for a second set. They could probably try to go for tier 4s, although incredibly greedy. They'd probably be able to get away with it, but instead they'll play it safe and go for the double lane of barracks. Definitely a reasonable choice. Ancient Apparition Ice Blast lands in mid. Warren does have his pipe, and that's going to absorb a decent amount of this damage, and he shouldn't die to that. In the meantime, the Visage Familiars take down the melee barracks. Although Tidehunter's trying to do his best to do damage, he's just taking too much in return. That Soul Assumption going to finish him off, and now they're going to clean up another. It's GG. There's nothing else that they can call.
That was a disgusting Sheepstick from Ace. Like, if the Chronosphere actually was thrown out there, it would have landed on 3, I think, maybe even 4. And that would have just instantly lost in the fight. Like, you can't come back from that. It doesn't really matter what the circumstances are, but the faster Sheepstick, the slow cast time of the Chronosphere. Actually, the stream is catching up. Yeah, it would have been a 4-man Chronosphere, but instead Drake take it 2-0 over Moscow 5, and, well, now known as Drake, previously known as Coast, they've always been a solid team, and they showed it right now. Moscow 5, I mean, you could expect they're going to perform decently, but they just got embarrassed right now by Drake in 2 30-ish minute games. That's going to be it for the day, guys. Battle Central Europe will continue tomorrow at 16 CET. Be sure to pick up that ticket from the Dota store. Get yourselves a sweet Meepo set as well. I don't play Meepo, so it's probably not going to be high on my list of priorities, but still, it's worthwhile to see these teams play. I'm Mike Loris. I've been joined by Grandis here on the HeflaTV Hitbox 1 channel. If you want to get a little bit more info about us, twitter.com, facebook.com/HeflaTV is where you're going to find it. And after that, I think that's about it. Any last words, man?
Well, if you still want to watch some Battle of Central Europe, Virtus.pro versus Bulo is still going on. If you want to go check out hitbox.tv/HeflaTV,